Hello to everyone who click on this video, I'm Vivi, and this is an assignment of the Biomedical Engineering course of the PhD program, an innovative technology of biomedical engineering and medical device in Ming University of Technology. And today I'll be introducing medical device through Biodesign thinking process, taking insulin pen as an example. In this video we'll go through Biodesign thinking as the lens, what it is and how to work with it when designing a medical device. Identify phase, how to find the needs. Background research, understanding the problem space. Invent phase, why the insulin pen is designed this way. Implement phase, translating the concept into real world. And pediatric design example, introducing Tomy insulin pen kit. Let's start with biodesign thinking. Biodesign thinking is a need-driven innovation framework developed at Stanford Biodesign specifically for healthcare and medical technologies. Instead of starting from a new technology or a design idea, it begins by deeply understanding unmet clinical needs. The goal is to ensure that solutions are not only innovative, but also safe, feasible, and meaningful within real healthcare systems. What makes biodesign unique is its focus on four key aspects: a need-first approach grounded in patient and clinician perspectives, strong reliance on clinical evidence, early consideration of healthcare constraints like regulation and reimbursement, and an emphasis on measurable impact on outcomes, safety, and patient adherence. Both design thinking and biodesign thinking are human-centered approaches that emphasize empathy and problem understanding, but they are used in very different contexts. Design thinking is widely applied across products and services, where the main focus is creativity, ideation, and user experience. It asks whether a solution feels useful and meaningful to users. Biodesign thinking, on the other hand, is designed specifically for healthcare and medical devices. Beyond user needs, it integrates clinical evidence, patient safety, regulatory requirements, and economic feasibility, ensuring solutions can actually function within real healthcare systems. Biodesign thinking is structured into three core phases: identify, invent, and implement. The identify phase focuses on discovering and defining unmet clinical needs, with the goal of producing a clear and measurable needs statement grounded in real evidence. The invent phase explores how that validated need can be addressed by generating and refining solutions, leading to a well-justified concept aligned with user requirements and constraints. Finally, the implement phase looks beyond design to real-world adoption, including regulation, manufacturing, and business considerations, with the outcome being a viable pathway to clinical use. The identify phase is where biodesign thinking truly begins. Its purpose is to understand and define the right problem before any solution is considered. Instead of starting with technology or form, biodesign emphasizes a deep investigation of unmet clinical needs. In this phase, designers observe patients, clinicians, and care environments to uncover pain points, risks, and inefficiencies in current practice. These observations are supported by research into the disease context and existing solutions. The outcome is a prioritized and measurable needs statement, carefully written without embedding a solution, and validated with real evidence. The identify phase is where biodesign thinking truly begins. Its purpose is to understand and define the right problem before any solution is considered. Instead of starting with technology or form, biodesign emphasizes a deep investigation of unmet clinical needs. In this phase, designers observe patients, clinicians, and care environments to uncover pain points, risks, and inefficiencies in current practice. These observations are supported by research into the disease context and existing solutions. The outcome is a prioritized and measurable needs statement, carefully written without embedding a solution, and validated with real evidence. Needs finding is the process of closely observing patients, clinicians, and healthcare workflows to uncover unmet clinical problems in real-world settings. Rather than assuming what the problem is, this step focuses on what people actually experience during care. For insulin delivery, observing children with type 1 diabetes reveals several critical needs. These children require multiple daily injections, and repeated needle contact often triggers fear, pain, and insecurity, which can disrupt proper use and adherence. In addition, needle phobia, reported in about 1 in 10 people, is especially common in younger patients. Poor injection site rotation can also lead to lipohypertrophy, affecting insulin absorption and glycemic control. After identifying a potential need, the next step is needs research, which means systematically investigating the problem using literature, data, and expert input. The goal is to understand the disease context, existing solutions, and why the problem truly matters. For pediatric insulin pens, research shows that clinical guidelines strongly emphasize correct pen technique, including proper priming, site preparation, and strict injection site rotation starting from diagnosis. Studies also show that lipohypertrophy can significantly increase the risk of unexplained hypoglycemia, making education on rotation and needle use essential. In addition, minimal needle lengths are recommended to reduce the risk of intramuscular injection in children. A need statement is a clear and solution-neutral way of defining an unmet clinical need. It specifies who the target population is, what problem or opportunity exists, and what measurable outcome is desired, without describing how the solution should look. In biodesign thinking, the need statement is especially important because it anchors the entire innovation process. A well-written need statement keeps teams focused on solving the right problem and provides a clear benchmark for evaluating future concepts. And so, the need statement for an insulin pen in this context is: children aged 4 to 12 years with type 1 diabetes need a safe, child-usable insulin delivery method that enables accurate small increment dosing and supports correct injection site rotation in order to improve day-to-day injection adherence and reduce hypoglycemia associated with poor absorption. Needs validation is the step where we confirm that a defined need is not only logical, but real, significant, and worth addressing. In biodesign thinking, this means validating the need with multiple stakeholders, not just one perspective. From the user side, interviews with children and parents consistently highlight fear, anxiety, and difficulty remembering injection site rotation as recurring pain points in daily insulin use. From the professional side, clinical guidance reinforces the importance of proper rotation, priming, short needles, and patient education as key strategies to reduce complications. When both users and clinicians point to the same issues, the need is strongly validated and ready to move forward. Now, before entering the second phase, background research is needed in order to understand more about the problem and dig out all the information related to it. Insulin therapy is required when the body cannot produce insulin or use it effectively. It is essential for all people with type 1 diabetes, and for many with advanced type 2 diabetes when oral treatments are no longer sufficient. Although type 1 diabetes affects far fewer people than type 2, it usually begins in childhood and results in complete insulin dependence for life. Because these children rely on insulin every day from a very young age, the safety, usability, and long-term design of insulin delivery devices become especially important. Over time, insulin delivery has evolved to better support daily use. Early syringes, introduced in the 1920s, required drawing insulin from a vial and were accurate but complex to use. In the 1980s, insulin pens simplified this process with a dial-to-dose mechanism, improving precision, portability, and ease of use, especially for children. More recently, smart pens add digital tracking of dose and timing to support adherence. New options, such as insulin pumps and needle-free delivery, aim to further reduce injection burden. An insulin pen is a handheld device used to deliver insulin under the skin in precise, dialed doses. It simplifies insulin injection compared to syringes, and is available in disposable, pre-filled versions or reusable designs that use replaceable insulin cartridges. Insulin pens offer several advantages that make daily insulin use easier and safer, especially for children. First, they provide improved dose accuracy, which is particularly important for small doses where syringes are more error-prone. Second, pens are more convenient and portable, allowing injections to be done discreetly at school or outside the home. Finally, shorter and finer pen needles help reduce pain and fear, which can lower anxiety and improve adherence, leading to better overall glycemic control. Insulin pens offer several key benefits that improve daily insulin therapy. They provide high precision, allowing accurate dose adjustments down to small increments, which is critical for patients with changing insulin needs. Compared to syringes, pens are associated with less pain and discomfort, thanks to fine, replaceable needles. Their compact and portable design makes injections more convenient and discreet in public settings. In addition, many pens offer flexible dosing options, supporting better fine-tuning of insulin therapy. Insulin pens come in several forms to match different user needs. Disposable pens are pre-filled and discarded after use, making them simple and convenient for daily routines. Reusable pens use replaceable insulin cartridges, reducing waste and allowing flexibility in insulin choice. Smart pens add digital features, tracking dose and timing and syncing data with smartphones. Finally, junior pens are designed for children, offering smaller sizes and lower dose increments for precise pediatric dosing.
Try washing and drying your hands. Then place your supplies on a clean, flat surface. You will need your insulin pen, a new, unused insulin pen needle, 2 alcohol wipes, your home sharps container. Once you have your supplies, get your insulin pen ready. Write down the date you open the pen and when it will expire. Most pens are good for 28 days, but some last shorter or longer, so be sure to check the packaging. Next, clean the rubber seal on the insulin pen with an alcohol wipe. Remove the protective tab from the insulin pen needle. Twist the needle onto the pen until it feels firmly in place. Keep the needle straight as you twist it on. Once the needle is on the pen, remove the outer needle cap and set it to the side to use later. Take off the inner needle cap, and priming ensures the pen and needle are working properly. It's important to do this before every insulin injection. Look at the dose window and turn the dial to 2 units. The arrow in the dose window should line up exactly with the number you need. You can dial the arrow back if you go too far. Hold your insulin pen so the needle is pointing up. Firmly press the injection button with your thumb. Drops of insulin will come out of the tip of the needle, which means the needle and pen are working properly. You'll be dialing to your dose. Make sure the arrow is lined up with the dose you're injecting. The even numbers are labeled, and the odd numbers are the line in between the even numbers. You can inject insulin in the following places: your belly, at least 2 inches from your belly button, the back of your upper arms, the side of your thigh, your upper buttocks. Don't inject insulin at near incisions, scars, or stretch marks. Each injection should be at least 2 inches or 5 centimeters from the last site you used. Gently clean the skin with an alcohol wipe. Hold your insulin pen in your fist with your thumb on the side of the pen. Gently pinch your skin at the injection site. In one motion, push the whole needle into your skin. Make sure the needle is inserted at a 90-degree angle to the injection site. Move your thumb to the top of the insulin pen. Hold the pen stable and push the injection button down gently until it returns to 0. Slowly count to 10. Then remove the needle from your skin. Never rub the injection site after the injection.
Going on to the invent phase. Here it's about how a concept becomes a medical product that validates the user needs. Once a need is clearly defined, Biodesign moves into the invent phase, where the question becomes how that validated need can be addressed through design, engineering, and system thinking. This phase focuses on turning insights into multiple solution concepts, then screening them for clinical relevance, usability, feasibility, and risk. Through early prototyping and iteration, uncertainty is reduced, allowing the team to refine and ultimately select a concept that best balances user needs with real healthcare constraints. In the invent phase, concept generation starts by translating validated needs into clear user-centered requirements. Here, the user needs are written in the first person, from the child's perspective, and are structured according to FDA design control guidance, which emphasizes defining user needs before proposing solutions. These statements reflect safety, dosing accuracy, emotional comfort, usability, and caregiver support. By grounding concept generation in regulated user need definitions, the design remains child-centric while staying aligned with medical device development requirements. These design directions are directly derived from the validated user needs identified earlier. Ergonomic decisions focus on small hands and clear dose visibility. Instructional cues support correct timing and injection site rotation, reducing user error. Equipment settings, such as short, fine needles and rotation guides, address both safety and comfort. Together, these directions translate abstract user needs into concrete, child-appropriate design considerations that can guide concept development in a regulated medical device context. Concept screening is the first major decision gate in the invent phase. Its purpose is to determine whether an idea is worth continuing before investing more time and resources. Each concept is evaluated against multiple dimensions, including clinical relevance, user fit, technical feasibility, regulatory plausibility, and economic or system fit. At this stage, the goal is not to perfect the design, but to eliminate concepts that cannot realistically survive real-world healthcare constraints. In this step, the insulin pen concept is evaluated across 5 key dimensions. Clinically, it addresses dose inaccuracy, handling difficulty, and injection anxiety in children. From a user perspective, dial-based dosing and fine needles reduce cognitive and physical burden. Technically and economically, the mechanism fits existing manufacturing and insulin supply chains. Regulatory-wise, insulin pens already fall within established device classes. As a result, the concept successfully passes screening as a viable and promising solution. After a concept passes screening, development and refinement focus on turning it into a credible, usable, and safe design. This stage reduces uncertainty by refining form, interaction, and mechanisms, identifying potential user errors, and testing early prototypes. The goal is to align the design with standards and real-world pediatric use conditions before final selection. At this stage, the insulin pen concept is refined in detail. Form and grip are optimized for small hands, while interaction elements like dose windows and clicks reduce misdialing. Performance targets ensure consistent dose delivery, and early prototypes help identify usability risks. As a result, the pen evolves into a robust, user-centered design ready for formal validation. After evaluating multiple concepts, the selected design is a reusable, cartridge-based insulin pen tailored for children aged 4 to 12 with type 1 diabetes. It supports half-unit dosing, an ergonomic grip for small hands, and clear visual and tactile feedback. Choosing a reusable format supports long-term therapy, reduces cost and waste, and directly aligns with the validated needs statement by improving adherence and reducing injection-related fear. Up to this point, we've focused on identifying the right need and shaping a viable solution. The implement phase shifts the focus to the real world. This is where regulatory planning, validation, manufacturing, and business strategy come together to ensure the insulin pen can be safely adopted, approved, and sustained in everyday clinical use. The implement phase focuses on translation rather than creation. Its purpose is to ensure a medical device concept can safely reach patients and be sustained in real healthcare systems. This phase addresses regulatory pathways, verification and validation planning, manufacturing and quality strategy, and the business model needed for real-world adoption. This step defines how a medical device can legally enter the healthcare system. It involves identifying the device classification based on risk, determining the appropriate approval route, and understanding applicable regulations and international standards. Addressing the regulatory pathway early helps avoid concepts that may be unsafe, non-compliant, or impractical to bring to market. Insulin pens are typically regulated as Class II medical devices under FDA regulations, with approval commonly achieved through the 510(k) pathway by referencing existing predicate devices. Submissions rely on established standards covering usability engineering, human factors, injection safety, risk management, labeling, and design controls to demonstrate safety, effectiveness, and regulatory compliance. Here are the key guidance documents and standards commonly referenced when developing an insulin pen. IEC 62366-1 for usability engineering of medical devices. The FDA Human Factors Engineering Guidance from 2016. 21 CFR 820.30 for FDA design controls. ISO 11608-1 for needle-based injection systems, general requirements. ISO 11608-2 for pen needle requirements. ISO 11608-3 for cartridge systems. ISO 23908 for sharps injury protection. ISO 7250 and ISO 20685 for anthropometry. ISO 15223-1 for symbols and labeling. And ISO 14971 for risk management. This step plans the evidence needed to show that a device is safe, effective, and usable. Verification asks whether the device meets technical specifications, while validation checks whether it truly meets user needs in real use. For insulin pens, this includes testing dose accuracy, repeatability, and reliability, as well as usability validation to ensure children and caregivers can inject safely and consistently, especially when delivering small doses. This step ensures the device can be consistently and safely produced at scale. It involves defining materials, components, and suppliers, establishing manufacturing processes and tolerances, and implementing a quality management system. For insulin pens, standardized cartridges and components support high-volume production, while quality systems and risk management ensure dose consistency and reliability across millions of uses, including in reusable designs. The business model defines how the device reaches users and remains sustainable over time. It includes deciding sales and distribution channels, identifying key stakeholders and decision-makers, and planning training, service, and user support. For insulin pens, distribution typically occurs through hospitals, clinics, and pharmacies, supported by education programs for patients and caregivers, with strong partnerships between device manufacturers and pharmaceutical companies to enable scale. At last, here's a design example based on the need statement we've talked about before. Tomi, an insulin pen kit design centered on children with type 1 diabetes. Tomi is an insulin kit designed specifically for children aged 4 and above with type 1 diabetes, addressing both medical and emotional challenges of daily insulin therapy. The kit combines a child-sized insulin pen with a system of temporary tattoos that help children remember where they previously injected insulin. This supports correct injection site rotation and helps reduce complications such as skin damage or poor absorption. Beyond functionality, Tomi is designed to feel intuitive, friendly, and playful, lowering fear and anxiety around injections. By turning a stressful medical routine into a more approachable experience, Tomi supports better adherence and empowers children to participate more confidently in managing their condition.
Tomi facilitates the administration of insulin into the body. It has temporary tattoos that visually indicate where you have previously injected, and an insulin pen that's designed specifically for a child's hand. What can happen is that the full dose is not administered, and one, you waste insulin, and then two, you don't get the correct dose, so that is very dangerous. So it changes color, and the more you hold it, the more it changes color. There's no insulin pens designed specifically for a child's hand. All of the ones on the market are designed for an adult's hand. If you do something that they don't like, then it's human to just not want to do it. Design makes it more user-friendly and more human. It makes it easier for them to understand and be able to use the technology and take advantage of its full power. If you don't design it, then it's very unnatural. It's even robotic in a way that us as humans, we're not used to using it. That's why user experience is so important, because it humanizes it.
This case shows how biodesign thinking turns real clinical needs into meaningful solutions. By starting with empathy and focusing on children with type 1 diabetes, the insulin pen evolves beyond a device into a system that improves accuracy, comfort, and long-term adherence. It highlights how human-centered, need-driven design can truly improve everyday healthcare. So this is introducing medical device through biodesign thinking process. Taking insulin pen as an example, I am Vivi Su, and thank you for watching.